Will you be the 2019 World Championship? Do you think it's possible? Should be real?
Everything is possible in this world.
Can you present a little bit yourself?
Hello everyone, my name is Nilsson, 24 years old, official driver for Kart racing team and work at the company Ligeti Godolphin.
Ok, quindi oggi siamo qui con Brandon, il nostro pilota ufficiale, Ligeti Ridolfi per Kart. Ok, so we can start with the first questions. La prima domanda, allora, è una domanda più tecnica e ci chiedono, siccome provano con i Rotax engine, con i motori Rotax e con le gomme Moio per il setup e sono sempre dietro di 3-4 decimi, se hai qualche consiglio. Ok, this is the first technical questions. The person asked this question because he usually used the tag engine and the tires Moyo, and he asked for some advice for his setups because he is like 3-4 tenths behind. Any advice?
Okay, they said that it's been complicated to find the setup. For me, it's difficult to say what to change and what not to change because I don't know the difference between the MG tires and the Moyo tires. And also with the engine, I don't know did you do the X30 engines privately, did you rent it, the same with the Rotax tag engine. But either way, for the chassis, for us to give good advice, we need a good feedback from where arrived the problem, so to say. For understand if the problem arrived in the front, the rear, you missed the grip, you have too much grip. If we have this feedback, then we can work on making a change that works for the tire and the engine.
Ok, so we can say, possiamo dire quindi che tutto dipende da un sacco di fattori e che bisogna comunque avere dei feedback dal proprio pilota, from his driver first. And have you ever used this engine and these tires?
I used to drive the Rotax engine a few years ago.
Okay.
Rotax tag, I'm not sure what it is.
Ok, quindi usava il motore Rotax, però non quello tag. So now we can go to the more easy questions. The first one is very short, Mac or Gold?
Mac or Gold. Okay, now I'm a driver of Gold Kart, but Mac and Gold is within the portfolio for Ligeti Godolphin. For me, I've been driving Gold for 3 years now. It's my 4th season, and I cannot say Mac or Gold. In my heart is Gold.
Ok, quindi praticamente tu hai il terzo anno che guidi, la quarta stagione, e nel tuo cuore c'è più che altro il Gold, come c'è proprio anche sul cuore lì. Have you ever tried Mac?
No. Mac I never tried.
Ok, mai usato un Mac, quindi vabbè.
In theory it's the same, just small details that change, but the frame itself is the same.
Ok, quindi il frame è lo stesso, però ci sono qualche piccolo dettaglio di differenza. Okay, can you describe a little bit your typical race weekend, what you usually do?
Normally for the race weekend, we 1 week before prepare all the material. We have like a list of things we need to put in the van, what need to do with the frames and all this. Arrive at the track, depending on what race it is. It could be on a Wednesday or on a Friday. Either way, you put up everything, the tent, so make a good, or organize everything to make a good race. Then from there is you go up early in the morning, you finish late in the evening. But it's a nice thing. The passion for us is racing, and yeah, you know.
No, well, you can start. You can say I don't know during like you usually have the race on Sunday, right? And what do you do on Sunday? You wake up. How many hours before the race? More or less.
Okay. So, like I said, depend on what type of race. Normally they have like the qualifying practice on Saturday, Saturday morning, or in certain cases Friday evening. And then Saturday we have qualifying heats, and from there, depending on what position you arrive in the heats, you can go to the final or not on Sunday. And normally during race weekend we go up at maybe 6 in the morning. My standard routine for the race normally is look so everything is okay with the frame, speak a little bit with the mechanic, and
do you listen music before
No.
the race?
what I do normally, like 1 hour before the race, I go away. I go away from the paddock. I go just to be alone, not speak with anyone also.
Okay.
Just to be like in the zone for me.
Okay. On the easier. Okay. So another question is, what gold Kart chassis do you use, and what is the favorite things about it?
Okay, I use the GTR 30. It's 30mm tube all around. My favorite thing about it is that I have a good understanding for how the chassis works. Since now I've been working here for 1 year, it's been good for me because I see the procedure how to make our procedure how to make the frames and how we make all the material, and from there you understand, okay, if you make this, the front will change on the chassis or the rear will change. And for me it's good because then I can give a good feedback, a good input on what could be done with the frame to arrive more in front.
Tu usi il GTR 30 e cosa ti piace è che praticamente tu stando qui, lavori qui da quasi un anno, giusto? E riesci a capire con le piccole modifiche cosa portano anche perché tu lo vedi tutti i giorni qua. Okay, so let's go. Another one. When will be the next race? And here we can talk a little bit around the 2019 racing year. What do you expect from this year? Which races are you focused more?
The next race will be il Trofeo dei Sette Laghi in Castelletto next week. After that will be the start of the European Championship in Germany, Wackersdorf. The European Championship is set up in 2 rounds for the KSL2 category, the shifter class. And the first round in Germany, and the final round in Salm in Italy. Then I will also make the Italian Championship this year, which is set up in 5 races. And the big one, the World Championship, in the track everybody knows in the world, Safgara.
The most important.
Yeah.
Okay. It's only one race.
The World Championship is only one
Ok,
race.
quindi praticamente farai una gara a Castelletto per poi andare all'Europeo, che sono 2 tappe, la prima in Germania e la seconda a Napoli.
Sì.
Ok, per poi essere pronto per il campionato mondiale. Wow, allora, ok. And then the training before the race. Okay, what do you usually do for the training before the race? I mean, you are already a professional driver.
Yeah.
For work, yes.
Yeah.
And what do you usually do for training your body?
Yeah. Normally, the best training for go-kart is to drive the go-kart. You cannot do that every day. So normally what I do is a lot of cardio.
Okay.
For go-kart, you don't need to have a big buff strength. What you need is, like how you say, slow muscles to have the strength to do one race. If you go to the gym,
Okay.
you train, but you take small weights, but you make many times. And me, I run a lot.
Okay, you like to run. Even in the winter, you run?
No, then I go to the gym inside. I have a good running track. The winter is cold.
Okay. What do you usually do when the track is wet? In case
When
of
the track
wet
is wet, normally we put rain tires
Okay.
and make
Some setup adjustments?
yeah, you make some setup adjustments or have more steering. One thing, you put more caster, more angle on the front of the chassis, so you have more steering input when you turn. And you change things like the sprocket for the engine, the gear ratio, you change the carburation.
Mm-hmm.
Many small things, all depend on what the driver wants and how the chassis is.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Also. And what are some secrets that you can say for the pre-qualifying setup? Do you change something?
Some things we change, yes. Could be carburation, go a little bit more aggressive because the qualifying practice is very short. It's like you don't do the full race distance. Sometimes you can go up just a little bit with the tire pressure.
Okay.
Or have the possibility to wait some extra minutes before you go out, because that's normally what the drivers do. If you have a session that is 8 minutes, you wait until you have 6 minutes to go, 5 minutes to go. And me, normally, my preparation is don't push too hard, because you put a lot of stress on the tires and then the qualifying is not good.
The importance to choose the different type of axles for the different types of track and tires.
Okay.
It's more technical. This
Yeah. So you have a big range of different rear axle you can change on the chassis, because all is a steel frame. You don't have the suspension on this. The harder axle normally gives you more grip in the back, but everything depends on the driver, how he wants the chassis. He maybe wants it to flex more, or he wants it to be more stable. All this is a factor, and the tires, because it's difficult to say this is the axle you need to use, or yeah.
Okay.
And you can also change the length of the axle. Sometimes you cut the axle for have it more free in the back, but you don't want to change to a soft one because it's too much free.
Okay.
Normally the axle is one of the things later in the stage that you change when you have found like the correct seat for you, because also the seat has big importance for the character of the chassis.
Okay.
Because we have soft seats, hard seats, standard seats. So it's difficult to say.
Which one is better?
Yeah.
Will you be the 2019 World Championship? Do you think it's possible? Should be real?
Everything is possible in this world, but everything is also very difficult. Of course, would be a good thing. I mean, to call yourself a winner of the World Championship. I mean, it's not a bad thing, right? No, but in reality, it's very difficult. Every race is difficult. Karting now, I think, is more competitive than it's ever been, ever. And, but we will do our best to make a good result.
Quindi sarebbe un bel sogno per te riuscire ad essere campione mondiale 2019? Sì? Sì, ce la si può fare. Who is the best mechanic you had? Or
the best mechanic. I know who asked this question.
You know? Okay.
Yeah, it's a good friend of mine, and I think he wants me to say his name. But I think, okay, you're a good mechanic, but I might be better in that category than you. also, maybe.
Ok, praticamente lui sa chi ha fatto la domanda. È un buon meccanico che te l'ha fatta la domanda, però tu pensi di essere meglio. Sì.
Secondo me sì.
Ok. It's not a question, it's more like a phrase. A person from Norway wrote good luck for everything.
From the guys in Norway, thank you very much, and maybe one day we'll see you at the track.
Okay, we have finished almost. Do you have something more to add? Do you want to say something else? What's your expectation for this year, for the future? What would you like to do after when do you think your career is going to end? Would you like to still work in the go-kart?
Okay, for me, go-kart, okay, people will say 24 years old. For go-kart, I start to get a little bit old.
Yeah, but you don't know what else.
This is the thing. But some guys or some people normally ask why you never took the step into single-seaters or cars. I never had the opportunity to make this decision, this path, because it's always a budget thing, right?
Yeah, it's very expensive because we can also, it's important to say that we need the money. The driver need the money, and most of the good drivers has a lot of sponsors. And if they have only a few sponsors, the sponsor is very illegal. A lot of money.
So I stayed with go-kart, worked through the categories from Mini, and from Mini I jumped to KF2 at the time. I was very shit in KF2. Just putting out I was very shit.
Okay. Yeah, but now it's better.
Now it's okay. I think it's better now.
Okay.
A lot of hard work from me and my father, because we were always alone. Okay. A lot of grinding on the track. But one thing led to another. You start to know the people around the karting world. And long story short, from many contacts and many years of pushing, I arrived here.
Okay. Yeah, this is like your actual brand.
Yeah, because I think nowadays when people see me, they see go-kart.
Okay.
Because
you are quite alone in the circuit.
I've been with Rigetti for quite some time now.
Okay.
And I'm happy to be here. I'm happy with the opportunities that I've been given, and I'm looking forward to
win some race, to add some trophies.
Yeah, that would be a good thing.
Yeah, we need some space because here there is not space.
Yeah, I mean the World Championship trophy could be here.
Yeah, in the center, here in the middle. Yeah. Okay. That's all?
Yeah.
Okay.
And please, if you have the time, like and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Instagram, Brandon_Nilsson and Rigetti_Idolfi. And also give us a like on Facebook. Or like and follow us on Facebook.